Say it, mercy. Some days, this is a story. Some days, it's just a thought that wants to be shared. A pause, a breath. Lighten your load. Remember to breathe. Let joy find you. Say it, mercy podcast. Why is it easier to tell your truth to someone you have never met? Well, it's episode 4, and I'm hoping that this audio is much better than episode 3. But here we go. Curiosity, exploration, and pondering. I've been sitting with this question for some time. I want to say years, because it really has been in the back of my thoughts or exploration. Every so often comes back and asks the same question. Why are we so why, or maybe how easy we are to sharing our life with strangers? And of course, this really came to me when Facebook started. Woof, I'm going to date myself. But I remember my generation was was in amazement, in horror at times, on how easy the younger generation who took to Facebook and left it quickly because the older generation took over. But they would just share everything. They would share their anger, their emotions, what they were eating, what they liked or didn't like. I guess it was the beginning of the influencers. And we were coming, the older generation, from a culture that said you don't share everything because other people could be judging you. And so we didn't. And of course, this new generation broke all the rules. And they're older now, by the way. But it's still valid because I don't know why it is easy for people to share with strangers. And I say this as a podcaster who's sharing things with strangers and who has a YouTube channel in English and in Spanish. And I'm sharing to strangers in a video, which is even more, I think, frightening at times, right? Or perplexing. Now, as a person that is sharing with an audience that I don't know who's listening to me or who's watching my videos in YouTube, I have to say it is easy for me to share because it's coming from my curiosity, my love for sharing stories, and it's coming from a place of non-judgmental, not judging, but it's coming from the pondering or wondering. I always say wondering. I'm pondering something because it gives me the ability to expand in a perspective, right? Of course, it's even better if I would be in a conversation with you all, but nevertheless, here I am sharing with strangers and still asking myself, why is it easy? Now, I'm going to tell you, it's easier if it's audio for me. It's a little bit more difficult because I'm doing a video in YouTube, and I right away start criticizing where my hair is or if I have makeup or not makeup. And I'm struggling because I want to make it as authentic as possible. And I don't want to be into a fuel makeup part because that's not me. I want to make it organic and authentic. And so I wanted to come in today. It's been a busy schedule. And I said, no, I can't not have a podcast as I promised on Tuesdays. the first and the third Tuesday of each month. And this came up a few weeks ago. And so I wanted to share with you. Um, sometimes when you start with a bubble thought or a thought that you start pondering or evaluating or looking at it, it's amazing how it does like a domino effect, right? You start remembering the first time you were introduced to Facebook. You start remembering how kids were just so free at sharing. And then you also start looking at what has evolved. And sometimes it's very hurtful just to see the ugliness that has evolved, the bullying that has evolved, the harm that has caused, people just sharing their lives. And then the other people watching, listening, reading, attacking that stranger that they don't know as if they knew that person. And someone like me, I'm sensitive to energy. I feel stuff. It feels so ugly every time I witness something like that. When someone criticizes a performer or an actor or a sports person, and I know sometimes people have told me, "Oh, you're just a weakly. You're too humanistic." And maybe I am, but I feel the ugliness in my skin. I feel it in my body, and it's not easy. So I try to share joyful stuff or curiosity of expanding our awareness, right? And the other day I was looking in social media and all of a sudden there was so many people attacking each other. First, someone shares something that may not be the best to share. And even though it does not resonate with me, there is hundreds of people answering back, attacking the person that shared that thought. And then I'm in the mix thinking, yeah. And all of a sudden I am not writing a comment, but in the mix of all those comments. And I realized I was in the same boat. I'm judging that person. Isn't that person free to say whatever they want? And am I not free to ignore them, block them, not want to see them? Because the trick of social media, and I'm amazed because everybody knows this, I think, is people share outrageous stuff to get clicks, to get people to react, for people to make comments. And here we are. We give them what they want. I hear from one side that says, well, but we cannot just leave it not making any comments to it. We have to comment. That is not proper, or we should tell them, or whatever the excuse is. Think this. In social media, everything is about a click and a comment. They are selling. They want followers. They want to attract. And I always think every time I see this, it's all the way back to the 1970s and 80s. Yes, I'm going to date myself, but that was the marketing that was being told to market. It's better for people to talk about you, even if it's bad, than no one talking about you. And that's where the social media is right now. It is trying to make titles for the programs or the articles or whatever they're selling be outrageous. And then you click, and then there's nothing about that title in the story, but you already clicked. It's too late, baby. You're hooked. So just wanting to share some of these things that sometimes just pass by and we forget that we are being hooked by the outrageousness. And unfortunately, we are not hooked by the good stories. I had a friend of mine, he was a director, he passed away early, too young. And he always would say, Mercy, a director always know there's two things that he needs to make sure the movie is has. If not, the movie will be forgotten. A good comedy or a good drama. Because humans work on those two functions. If it's a great comedy, you will always remember with great laughter those scenes. And if it's a great drama of intensity, the one that kept you at the edge of every move, that got you. And you will remember that movie. You will even remember the message of that movie. This is who we are. It's not we have to change, it's just being aware. That is how we work. That's the mechanical part of our humanity. So next time you share through social media, be aware. I don't, it's not about correcting anybody, to tell you the truth. For me, at least that's my opinion. It's about just being aware. Why I'm reacting to this story. Is this story trying to hook me? I'll give you another one, and I think it's 1990, early 1990s. I was a manager in a telecommunication company, and I was being trained on the psychology of an irate customer and how they try to hook you so that you tell them off, and now they can report you to your superiors. And it was fascinating because that's what I see in social media today, be it intentionally or unintentionally. Ooh, I didn't close my phone. Shame on me. Intentionally or unintentionally, okay? Because it's a lot of times it's unintentionally. But when we're sharing, there's a hook. In my case, I'm going to tell you honestly, my hook is that I hope my pondering, curiosity, and questions leave you thinking, leaves you pondering on your own and exploring to see what you find. But everyone has a hook, even those who think they don't. Whatever you're listening to, whatever you are watching, think about it. Why are you watching it? Why are you listening to it? I know as a listener myself and a watcher of videos and YouTubes, when I'm going at night trying to relax and I'm looking for commentaries or nice YouTube of people sharing their stories, I know why I'm there. I know why I'm looking for certain videos and certain channels. There's certain channels that I love because the personality of the person, because of what they're sharing, they're making me learn or making me relax. They're making me even think that I'm connected to that person or that I know that person. It's fascinating, isn't it? I hope that we keep that curiosity going, that we are more aware of why we are being hooked and then making the choice if we want to continue the hook or we let it go. There's a lot of more questions that I can give you on how to let it go. And so if you see, there goes the hook. If you keep watching or subscribing to the channel, you will get them too. It's easier to look outside of us and criticize the neighbor's house than look at our house and get it in order. This is something I've always told my clients. Isn't it easier to tell the neighbor what color to paint their house? And it is so difficult to make a decision of what color we want to paint our house with. We have 40,000 swabs. We look at all the types of beige or sand or whites that they're in, or even yellow. It's just our nature. And because of that, I love to share these kind of quirky questions I always get when I start pondering. So maybe always, or maybe not. Look at your whys. Why are you listening to me? Why are you listening to whoever podcast you listen to? Excuse me. I am very real. I probably have only three people listening to me, but I don't even know them. Or maybe I know one. Whatever it is, don't get hooked. And if you get hooked on something that inspires you, makes you a better human. I'll leave you with that. I'm Mercy, and this is Say It Mercy. So stay curious. Until next time. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for honoring your soul's whispers. If today's reflection spoke to you, I invite you to share it or subscribe in whatever way feels natural to you. You're also welcome to connect with me on YouTube or through my Substack's Reflections, where this soulful journey continues. Until next time, may your story unfold with clarity, tenderness, joy, and light.